If I gave a fuck what y'all think I would be doing this? Welcome to the FMFU podcast, the podcast that's from me, for us. Vulgar but true, real and never fake. I'm your host, Reese, and I've got a lot of shit on my mind today, so let's get into it. It's funny how some life lessons that go over people's heads are just so easily broken down in children TV shows. So Mason was watching this cartoon, and one of the kids, let's just say Kid J, had asked Kid K if he wanted to play a game with the toy tower that Kid K built. Kid K said sure he wanted to play. So Kid J knocked his tower over and said kaboom. Kid K was mad because he spent all day building the tower, and he tells the teacher. The teacher asks Kid J, why would you knock his tower over? Kid J replies, he said he wanted to play a game with the tower. This was the game. The teacher mediates and asks Kid K, if you knew this was part of the game, would you have wanted to play the game Kid J asked you? Kid K says, if I would have known, I would have said no. The teacher mediates between the boys and basically says that it is important to give all of the important information and also to be mindful to ask questions so there's a clear understanding of communication. I'm washing the dishes like, well, goddamn. A lot of y'all grown asses need to watch this show. But anyways, happy Friday, people, and welcome to an all-new exciting episode of the From Me For Us podcast. Yeah. So here we are, fresh off of Super Bowl Sunday, and I'll say what I'm sure all of you are thinking, barring you being a diehard Eagles fan. The game was a fucking disappointment. And I'm not only saying this because I wanted to see some history, which on the sidebar, are we ever going to witness some historic shit? Like the Patriots couldn't do it for the 19-0 perfect season. The Warriors couldn't do it with the 73-9 best regular season record. The Chiefs can't three-peat. Clearly nobody is ever going to be able to complete no type of damn history. Or maybe the fix is in. But anyways, it's just, the fact that it just wasn't even a real game after basically like the first quarter. Like it felt like an online match in Madden. I hate blowout championships. And although the quote is defense wins championships, I love chip games to be sort of a shootout and come down to the wire. Seeing all like the razzle dazzle plays and the scores of like 31-28 or even higher, shit like that is ideal to me. So of course, when things started to tip in Philly's favor so fast, I thought to myself, hey, I could have been playing fucking Warzone. Follow me on Twitch, by the way, ReesePup007. It got so crazy so early that just Super Bowl Sunday, it just got real fucking boring for me, like real fucking quick. And it just wasn't as enjoyable as I thought it was going to be. Also the fact that, and I didn't really think about this until the day of. This was my first time in 2 years that I was at home watching the Super Bowl. And honestly, this is probably going to be my last. My goddamn kids just kept bothering me, talking to me, asking 1,000 fucking questions that just weren't even about the game. And I was just getting really irritable. So with those two combinations, it pretty much made me not really enjoy the evening as much as I thought I was going to, or at least much as I had hoped. But all should prevail, right? Second quarter comes to an end, and I'm like, okay, bet. At least we got halftime coming up. We can see what the halftime show is going to look like, right? Because, unless you've been the time traveling man from 2005, Kendrick is headlining halftime. And like everyone else, I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do because I feel like he's going to kill it. So the show gets started, and without recapping everything, I think we can talk about it maybe in two ways. Like, I think from a rapping perspective, the volume was kind of low in the beginning, but I think they did fix whatever sound issue, over time. But as far as like the rapping, the breath control, him being a certified rapper and doing what he does from a rapping on a stage, I think he did a good job, which really is no surprise. I'm not shocked at all. I think from a song selection perspective, the pop out Ken and Friends show, of course, I think that was better. It may be an apples to oranges comparison because you get a way longer set because that was an Amazon special and you're very limited at the Super Bowl. You only get like 13 minutes. But it is hard for me to forget that happened when I feel like it just happened. And I guess it was 8 months ago, but shit, the way time's zooming, it doesn't really feel like it. The shit was just so amazing to me. I've kind of set it on that type of bar in a way, at least just from the way that went. But outside of the song selection and rappability on the one side, if we look at it from the other side, from the showman perspective, which is really what the Super Bowl is about, a couple things that stood out to me. I like the popping out of the Grand National on stage where it was like it's mad niggas popping out. Samuel L. Jackson being Uncle Sam. I don't know about y'all, but I definitely was like, man, if he let a motherfucker out, I'm gonna fucking lose it. Like, having the all black crew be red, white, and blue, which the colors of them creating the flag representing the blacks whose histories are interwoven in the backbone of this country and everything else and all the other symbolism. I think that it was cool. I think there was a lot of truth and history and messaging in the symbolism. And I think it's very important for us to always understand our history and where not just we came from, but where our ancestors came from. But as far as a showman and performance perspective, I just thought it was okay. Looking at it from a more apples to apples perspective to not compare it to the Pop Out Ken and Friends show, since Rock Nation has been curating the halftime show, like they've been doing an amazing job. Think about what we had prior to them being involved with all the cold plays and whoever the fuck else. But I will say my favorite so far to this day was probably the one in LA with Snoop, Dre, Mary J, M, and also 50 and Kendrick ended up popping up. That was probably the most lit one to me just because of the songs. Like, those were all like my favorite fucking songs in the era when I grew up as a kid into a young adult. And I mean, looking at it from the set, or they didn't do anything amazing for performance wise on the stage. The set was cool. I think they had like a low ride on the stage or something. It wasn't super lit, but I was so lit because of just the songs. It just felt like I was in a fucking concert. Man, I remember at my man's house. We was having a great ass time. I really didn't get that same feeling this go around. And I think because I had expectations that I was going to, that's why it was a little disappointing for me personally. It's not that it wasn't bad. It wasn't as lit to me. And that's okay. But I will say this though. Y'all niggas on the internet so funny. It just seems like according to y'all, if you didn't like it or if you didn't say, oh my God, it's because you sleep or it went over your head. But I just want to say this, man. I'm sick and tired of y'all motherfuckers.
It's the FMFU podcast,
So Monday
bitch.
comes around. That's all I'm seeing on the damn internet. I'm sick of this shit. I saw someone comment on someone's status saying, oh, you don't understand the symbolism because you light skinned. And can I just say this on the sidebar? I'm not really offended by like light skinned jokes because all my life I've been getting light skinned jokes. Everybody can get clowned. I can say something about almost anybody. So it's no big deal. I have thick skin. But my new reply gonna be if anybody does ever hit me with a light skin joke, it's probably just like, yeah, and if I wanted, I can take your bitch and have you sick. And just leave it at that because yeah. But anyways, I think what the internet folks who spew all of this so woke intelligence fail to realize is that you're allowed to not enjoy a performance while still appreciating the symbolism behind it. The same way you cannot understand the symbolism behind something and enjoy the performance. Or maybe you hate both. I feel like there's this big Super Bowl halftime divide of, oh, y'all didn't like it because you don't understand it. To me, I feel like you're just playing with people's intelligence because they disagree with you. What if it's really just like, bro, I just didn't like it? What if someone has their own reasons for not really enjoying the performance? Maybe because certain expectations were set and it didn't meet that level or it wasn't that type of vibe. Although I enjoyed it, it wasn't on the lit level like I just gave the example with the LA one. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. This isn't me saying that, the symbolism and everything isn't important, but at the same time, it's a goddamn halftime performance. Keyword performance. So, yes, love the symbolism. I love the history lesson that we are teaching folks if that need be. But we can put things in there for sure that's going to represent for us and put on for us and showcase the blackness in front of the world. But it's still got to be a great performance. It's still got to be something entertaining. It's not that people just want to be cooned up and see only ass shaking and shit. You can have symbolism and still put on a great performance. The Beyonce halftime show where she did the Black Panther Party theme, that was amazing. It was Beyonce. She's like a 101. She's never really going to have a bad performance. But she was able to curate and put a Black Panther Party theme within the scope of that halftime show and still perform as litly the same way as she always does. Like, you can still do both. So it's okay if there's some people that are the biggest fans of someone and maybe they're expecting to hear some classic hits but didn't get to hear, Money Trees or some of the old Good Kid Mad City stuff. It's okay to be a little disappointed and say, oh man, I didn't like it as much. I will say on the sidebar, I did see something online, and I don't believe everything, so I don't know how true this is, but they were saying that he might not have been able to perform those classic TDE and Aftermath hits because of some type of contract shit. But who knows? I mean, at this point, it don't matter. I just honestly don't know why there's just such this big divide amongst the internet right now. Y'all too woke for me, man. And I don't mean that in a derogatory white people far right way. I'm saying it in the derogatory smart dumb nigga way and saying it. Oh, that's a love seat, so I can't sit on it because I ain't in love, ass niggas. So the other day, in the midst of all the online comments surrounding the Super Bowl performance, one thought came to mind that was very intriguing to me because it was sort of a like, wow, I really never thought of this. So a lot of times when that happens, I will go to social media. Maybe I'm just tripping. So the question in hand that I had posted and asked was, why do we always ignore the fact that Serena isn't married to someone who is like us? Now, this was a legit question. No malice, no shade, no nothing. Just me honestly, curiously asking because I've never fucking heard anybody say anything, me personally. Yo, you would think I would have said the name Voldemort to some shit. Like, I'm dead at like, yo, this shit kind of got lit for a second. So, because of this preposterous statement, my comments started booming. So, my very first comment that I got, it was like, well, her dude is worth like $1 billion, same as Eve's husband. To me, I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, I guess we selling out for money for the white man, which to a degree, I shouldn't be surprised because most of y'all bitches will fuck with a dude that got 50K and rolling in a Beamer with the dash light lit up like a Christmas tree. So having someone reply, yes, sign me up, wasn't no shocker at all. But it seemed like the common theme for the longest with that, I just never could get a direct answer to the question. Nothing direct. It was just always a question about my question. And I'm just like, why is everybody on here just asking questions about my question or bringing up something else that has nothing to do with the question? So once, I do finally start to get answers after replying, why are you answering my question with a question? Of course, you know what it turned into. The bashing of the black man. So I want to read some of these comments here. Let me pull these up. Black men love white women and constantly throw them in our faces. They sell this dream that with a white man, they don't have to deal with all the extras that come with a black woman. Niggas love snow bunnies. Black men have been dogging and dragging her and her sister for years, calling them ugly and saying they were manly. Black men have to take accountability too. She found a person who made her feel loved. Black men hardly bring up Serena being married to a white man because black men don't care enough about loving black women. Because we're grown and know that lady deserves love after all y'all ever gave her was a headache. Drake didn't marry her or his BM. Common didn't marry her or his BM. Kendrick hasn't married his BM. Serena been married for almost 10 years and all her children in wedlock. What's the common denominator here? Serena's been putting on for black women in our culture since she was a child. She's poured money into the black community, given black women opportunities, and gave an entire generation someone positive to look up to. Her husband may be white, but he's not a slump. Not only has he poured money into the black community, he gave up his board seat at Reddit and told them they should fill it with someone black. A lot of us wouldn't do that. Separate comment, but from the same person. The problem stems from the black men putting black women down to justify their dating preferences, which ultimately comes back to systemic racism. However, think about it. Nobody calls John Legend out because he's never bashed black women. Similarly, Serena's never said anything bad about black men. Her beef with Drake was personal. He dissed her in a song and she got her lick back. It's got nothing to do with her husband. I just gotta say this. Here we go. You pot fucking kettle ass. No offense. Yo, it always seems like we scream protect black men until a question gets asked about someone going against the be black and date black grain. Then we turn and ultimately have to just take the blame on ourselves. Now, the only reason I posed the question in the first place is because we know damn well what black women do to black men who choose white women and the disdain and trash talk that occurs online by the masses. I'm a big fan of equality, and my mindset is, oh, y'all want equality? Let's keep the judgment equal as well. Why isn't the energy the same when it comes to this instead of being chocked full of lame ass fucking excuses or deflections of answers with questions? Now, I will say this about some of those comments. Black men love white women and parade them around. Dog, none of my friends in any of my 3 or 4 circles are parading white women around thinking they better. Granted, I'm one piece of the population, but I have circles of friends from all over, and everybody, I mean every fucking body, is dipping in some hot cocoa, or at least some chai tea if they shorty is light skinned. I don't know what fucking niggas y'all be around that be parading snow bunnies like they better than black women and all this other crazy shit. Maybe you need to quit aligning yourself with losers. And this isn't to disparage anyone from dating outside your race. You can be Reese Shrimmer and I ain't got no type, and that's okay because from the looks perspective, I've always been that way myself. I've just never been with someone on a serious level that wasn't black. It's all about choosing love and who is going to treat you right. So me personally, I don't give a fuck that she's dating a white man. I wouldn't care if anybody was. But I just feel that there was just no real answer to the question of how does she get to skate by without ultimately bashing and blaming black men? And that's total bullshit because let's be real for a fucking second. Let's just say this was Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is the hot commodity right now, even prior to the Super Bowl MVP. And one thing he gets credit for, and not only his accolades, but he's got an all-black team. His mother, his agent, his fiance, all black women, which is amazing. I love it. He's getting kudos for this, and I'm glad he is because it's uplifting our black queens out there who do the damn thing. But let Jalen Hurts had been with a white woman. Oh my God. Y'all would be killing him for it. And don't say you wouldn't, because when the rumor mill of Michael B. Jordan only fucking with snow bunnies was going around, y'all was on his ass. The only way he killed that noise was when he popped out with Lori Harvey, and ultimately, she was for the streets. He gets with the black girl, and then he on the Jumbotron at the game looking all sad and shit after this little girl done broke his heart, his turtle. So if Jalen was with the bunny, yeah, y'all would still think he is attractive, but y'all be killing him. And this is where this whole equality shit that I always talk about and say that we'll never have equality, it's just never going to be a thing. It's never going to be a thing because the women wouldn't give the black man the time of day to have any sort of leash, no matter what the scenario is. And you know how I know you wouldn't? Because you fucking didn't do it before. Goddamn ghost, Amari Hardrick, when it was discovered that he was married to a white woman, even though this white woman held him down when he was a broke, starving artist and didn't have shit for however long, y'all killed that nigga on the internet. You would have thought he left Tasha in real life for that white woman, even though this was the only woman who held him down for however long when he didn't have shit. Y'all killed Amari for being with the white girl when the black girls didn't want him back in the day because he didn't have any money. So you're telling me niggas want Serena, so they don't want Serena, I should say. So it's okay for her to fuck with the white man, but when the black woman didn't want to fuck with Amari because he had no money and didn't believe in his dream, so he fucked with the white woman, his current wife, y'all gonna kick his back in. Where's the fucking equality in that? There's no fucking equality in that. And y'all know that's bullshit. So all y'all on my goddamn status going crazy, like I said, Lord Voldemort, or he who shall not be named, with your stories and your shit of ultimately blaming us, I don't want to fucking hear it. Because we can't talk about shit being equal and treating everybody with the same type of respect when y'all for the masses, and maybe y'all not y'all individually who are commenting on my shit, but the internet on a macro level, y'all do not keep that same energy to save your fucking life, and it's fucking annoying. Y'all motherfuckers don't keep the energy the same so badly that y'all kicked in Travis Kelce's back when he left the black girl for a white girl and he white. What the fucking sense does that make? Because y'all women looked at this white man as someone who was fine, so you felt, okay, now he one of ours, especially because he with a black woman, but he's white, and now he goes back with the white girl who's worth hundreds of millions and left the black girl model. And y'all online posting these pics about, oh, well, he got to go from this chocolate thick girl to the skinny white girl. Who gives a fuck? She worth them M's, right? I mean, sure, yes, me as a man who not rich like that, I understand it from a looks perspective, but it that situation looks like everything we just fucking said about Serena's husband. You know, maybe her husband comparing to Taylor, maybe they ain't quote unquote fine as fuck, but her husband got them B's, right? What the fuck is the difference? Taylor got them M's, right? What the fuck is the difference? Y'all don't choose equality in thought processes. And that's my problem and why this whole topic all this time just be having me so fucking hot. Even going back to earlier when there was a example about John Legend. John Legend, you know, no one bashes him for marrying a white woman. That was fucking terrible. Ain't nobody checking for John Legend. Chicks ain't out here ready to pop the pussy for John Legend. It's just a horrible fucking apple to oranges example, and it blows my fucking mind when reading it. So, in my own conclusion, based on the beat around the bush, answer all the questions with a question, and bash black men feedback, I've just come to the conclusion that it seems that it's only a problem if someone who the masses of the opposite sex consider fine is doing it. That's when it's a problem. Because based on the feedback from y'all, none of the niggas thought she was fine enough and wanted her bad enough to marry her, so it's okay for her to escape judgment by dating outside her race. Cool. Thanks for that long-winded answer. But all I have to say is that when a black dude who might go to the white woman and pretty much say, well, hey, James, why did you go with the white woman? And he pretty much say, well, black woman shitted on me my whole life, called me a nerd, thought I was corny. Don't be mad at that nigga if he gets some success and then he with the white girl because y'all never gave him the time of day. And then when he says, well, black woman never gave me a chance, y'all flip it around and say, well, y'all act like white women are prize and y'all shit on us. You ain't want the nigga. You gotta still want the nigga back. He can't just pick you up like a fucking daisy, dumbass. But anyway, you know, even according to other comments, athletes always go for the white women, which that don't make no fucking sense. We got way too many examples nowadays of that being the case. That's some Bush League old 90s mantra bullshit that they always say, and that is not the case nowadays. You can think about all the top stars for the most part. They are all with black women. Maybe Spanish at the most. It ain't too many I see walking around playing in snow, except Saquon. Which Saquon, y'all overlooked Saquon being with the white woman who probably been down with him for a minute, and that's his whole family because y'all saw on Jalen Hurts' dick. Pause. So I don't know. Go off, Queen. Do your thing. Maybe I'm fucking crazy. I'm looking at this replies, and I'm just like, how? I mean, I don't know. I think part of it is that, women like to fly off the handle in protection, sort of like some mama bear shit. You kind of think that somebody's trying to, shit on a black woman potentially. And, even though, hey, hello, sure, I'm light skinned, I get mixed up for other shit all the time, but nigga, I'm black. Every woman in my life is black. So, yeah, I'm not doing that. Pipe down. So, I'm just simply asking the question that I thought about because, I always see others get criticized. One example that was said before too was about one of the Maori sisters or somebody else. And they were like, well, it's a small sample size or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but they didn't get to skate. Why does she get to skate? Maybe it's, I don't know. Is it they don't? I don't know. I don't know. The point is, it's just a question. If you get offended by the question, then honestly, that's probably part of the fucking problem. Listen to that teacher with Kid J and Kid K. Ask questions, get understanding, and step your communication cookies up, nigga, because at the end of the day, you're not going to win in a debate with Reese. Lawyer Reese, out. Thanks for listening to the FMFU podcast. Follow me on Facebook at FMFU Experience. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at FMFU_experience. Also check me out on Twitch for some Warzone action at ReesePup007. Remember, people, life is a series of choices. Just make sure you make the right one. Peace.